All right, well, welcome to this class. Thank you so much for being here in this brand new class with the title Other Dimensions of Experience. And that sounds pretty exciting, doesn't it? So that's why I try to pull you in with that, I guess. I just love it that you are here and that you have chosen to take time to maybe look at yourself or maybe become quiet in yourself or turn off the world for a moment, just to come in touch with a different dimension of experience in yourself. Because that's what you have, so to speak. You only have your experience of yourself. And but there's a lot to explore. There's a lot to discover. And so I'll take you on a little journey today, and just by pulling in some really interesting possibilities to expand your mind, literally to expand. See, and when I say that word expand, I already feel it happening in my mind. So we come into the direct experience of our minds. Time is of no influence in this moment, and space neither is space. That's why I put on my different background again. It's like, yeah, I feel at home here. There's spaciousness, everything seems to stand still, and at the same time, there's only this one present moment that is so creative and so full of life that it literally lives you from within. And whatever can help you to come in touch with that knowledge inside of you is what I'm offering you in this half hour and that we're together. And so there will be different things. So I promise to put in some real high edge scientific research work that just was like a new insight in quantum physics or in a related science, just to help you to stretch your mind and also to see that's where the world is busy with and focusing on, with ideas of discovery, with ideas of exploring who you are. So, but first of all, I want to come back to yourself and thank you so much for being here. This will help you, and this moment is made for that, to relax deeper inside yourself where the stillness can be found. So it's like, okay, you don't have to wait for heaven. You don't have to wait for the kingdom until you die or something. No, this is the moment that you can already get in touch with it by relaxing, by breathing, by really deeply relaxing into the moment that you actually find yourself in. So this moment that we find ourselves in is the present moment. It has nothing to do with time. It is just a moment in which we recognize the communication that is unbroken, that is continuing in us and as us in this moment. So, like I said, today we're going to use all kinds of parts of scriptures that I found, the scientific part, and also there's at the end there will be like almost like a declaration, and that is a new experience for me to do that with you all. It is like I found this beautiful part in the new book of Joel, like the government of Eden. I found a really nice piece that actually turned out to be a prayer. But I use it as a declaration, like your declaration. Okay, so basically, this is the first class in the series of other dimensions of experience, and we stand still actually with your beginning. Like, hey, where did this start for you? When was it the first time that you felt that there's more to life than what you were used to? Like you all remember that moment that suddenly there was something like, oh my God, look at that. I had no idea. I really had no idea. And from there on, something really changed fundamentally in your life. So your like there was a dimension added to your experience at that point. But that wasn't the last one. It happened more, you know. So you have more experience with this. So you already discovered so much by being still, by reading, or by listening. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe, wow, I didn't see that coming. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Or, wow, my eyes are seeing differently now. I can look at a flower and start to cry for no reason just because I discovered the incredible, like overwhelming idea that we call beauty. And so there's a lot to discover, but it's not something that you have to go out for. No, it's something that you, yeah, in your stillness you discover, oh my God, there's so much more than I thought there was. So by slowing down, by breaking things down, by having more space between your thoughts, by cooling down or like relaxing, tranquilizing your nervous system with truth, suddenly there's the opportunity to have a whole different experience of yourself. And I love that. I love that idea. I love that idea, and I love to discover more experience of the incredible like mystery that is being presented to us all the time. Like there's no end to it. Every day is a new discovery of what that means, and where you can go to check it out, to discover what it is. So thank you so much to walk with me in this half hour that we are together. So I better hurry up with all the good stuff that I want to present to you, because it is like, oh my God, there's so much I can hardly, it's like, it's not necessarily that I have to use scriptures from books or anything like that, but it sometimes it's so nicely concentrated, formulated, that I want to use it just because the frequency that it holds. See, and now I'm already starting to look in a different way at the whole thing. It's like, okay, I'm talking about frequency, so we're actually talking about light. It has nothing to do with matter anymore. It has to do with light. So certain vibrations I want to transmit to you, or I receive it, I'm transmitting it because I received it. And that is going to do something with you like it does with me. Like it, suddenly you hear something that as soon as you hear it, you actually cannot undo it. It's like, oh my God, I heard it. My eyes opened. I've discovered something that will put everything upside down from now on because I've seen it. Like as if you are outgrown of something, like a popcorn popping out of the corn. You know, it's like, yeah, you're never going to fit in that little thing anymore. So this is the same with your mind and with your, you know, your consciousness. It expands as soon as it gets more insights. It appear to be, yeah, it is like very natural for you to already come to the edges of your consciousness, of the places that you never discovered before. But now it becomes like a natural, normal thing to you because you, in your recognition of it, it is established in you. Like, yeah, this is a remembering. It is there because, you know, you remember it, and it is like a present memory. You remember it now, and from that moment on, you cannot not remember it. It is part of it now. So that's the beauty of expanding consciousness, you know, and your consciousness is unlimited. So there's a way to go. There's no end to it. So that's why this, what we call life in this present moment, is unlimited, is literally infinite. That's why Joel had this infinite way. It is not a limited way. No, it's infinite. There's literally no boundaries in that. There's a possibility to expand your mind and to go to the outer edges and discover more and discover more and discover more. But the outer edges are inside of you. It's not somewhere else. And inside of you is inside your consciousness. Because basically there is nothing outside your consciousness, because your consciousness is all enveloping, like it's all inclusive. It doesn't have any exceptions or parts that are separated. And that's why it feels so good and natural. It's like, yeah, absolutely. Yes, I feel completely at home in that idea. It will bring me to my knees, and because I will be so grateful when I experience the all-inclusiveness of it. How great that idea that nothing can be separate of it. All right, so I want to pick up the first little part where I actually got the inspiration to call this series of classes other dimensions of experience. So it's coming from the way of mastery and the way of transformation, the section of chapter or lesson 1. And it says this: I'm not what I have perceived myself to be. I am unlimited, pure spirit, and nothing is unavailable to me. Therefore, in this moment, I choose to open access to other dimensions of experience so that I might call this moment to me in a different way. Therefore, in this moment, I choose to open access to other dimensions of experience so that I might call this moment to me in a different way. And as the words are spoken, notice what image begin to come into your field of awareness, as you perhaps imagine yourself to be far more than just a body, abiding in far greater dimensions than the physical dimension. Do you see fleeting images of other beings, colors of light, subtle feelings that perhaps you hadn't been aware of while you are focusing on the English translation of the vibrations? What do you notice drifting through the field of your awareness? Pay attention to it, for you cannot imagine what you have not or are not experiencing. You are the field of experience, the field of consciousness having that experience now. You create the capacity. You decide what you will enter into the field of your awareness and how you will experience it. Beloved friends, learn to look beneath the scenes. Learn to feel beyond the body. Learn to allow yourself awareness of what steals across the metaphorical corner of your eye, that is, the outer edges of your field of awareness. So, and I've been taking these suggestions by heart for a long time now, and it is like there's always more to discover, but also it's like this still finds place in your safety, that is called your the stillness and presence of God, like your field of peace that you take with you. Like it doesn't necessarily like you don't have to dive into something that scares you. No, it's more like in becoming really still in yourself and becoming really full of love, you discover something of a whole different quality. And that's where this is about. And that is why I love to offer this, because, it's like you get to the field where you start to know, you discover the knowing of things. And that takes away all the questions, that takes away all uncertainty, and it takes away all the doubt that you could possibly walk around with. And that's why this is like, it helps you to come into deeper layers of trust inside yourself. It's really about trust, and in that your certainty grows. the certainty that it's already given you. And like I said, that is so great about this. It's a remembering. It is literally allowing it into your field of awareness to see that it was already there, that it's so natural to you that you are not scared of it, or that you don't have to run away from it. So I love that. I love that. So are you beginning to feel something else? Are you remembering when it started the first time that you were open to receive something else? Maybe in a moment that you didn't expect it at all. So that can be right now too. You never know what you are going to experience. But see, this, even though this appears to be a class, you only have to deal with your own experience of this present moment. It has nothing to do with anything else. So, and that's the invitation to myself too. It's like, oh yeah, wait a minute, I'm not doing anything. It's like, okay, the words will roll out of my mouth, but at the same time, it is, no, it's my experience. I can only do this here, demonstrate it by practicing it, by using it, and by allowing it to come into my awareness and see what is possible and see what I can discover today. Just for, say, the exploration, part of the exploration or discovery of the love that I am. And then that goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and all of that. So there's light connected to it, there's love connected to it. And there's, like, you have to make a choice. Like, okay, yes, I want to experience something else. So this decision of you, and we talked about that before, it's like your decision in this is important, because you literally can decide to experience that or not. That's up to you. You know, there's no have to or must do at all. So this is a free choice of you to allow this new experience to come to you. So that might be a good reminder too. You have a choice. You can choose to have a different experience of your day today, of your moment now. Like, okay, I don't want to fill in any blank. I don't want to fill in anything. I want to come with complete open hands. You know, I want to completely experience something I've never experienced before. Maybe just like a scientist running off for work to go to his laboratory, and like by accident discovering something that is blowing himself away. And so these scientists are running through my mind sometimes, because I love to read scientific literature to see what the new developments are. Well, everything that we are talking about in this class is also, like, sometimes it is confirmed by science after a long, like very long period of examination of research and all of that. So sometimes the conclusions that are being made is something that's like, yes, hello, of course, you know, it's like, yeah, that was one way to get to it. You could, just by becoming still, have the same experience too. That's wonderful. So today I promised you to use one of those scientific little findings or discoveries, so to speak, and it has to do with nanotechnology. And so this is like very, very tiny little particles. That's where it has to do with. And these particles, they can be used by people. They can be used in research to activate something. Like, they have a certain amount of information in them that activates certain parts in, for instance, the body. So this time, and that is, I will start reading it in a minute. It is like, this time it is a discovery based on something that is like common human knowledge, in terms of, yes, so there is such thing as sickness. Yes, there is such thing as this and that. So you have to accept those statements first before you can even read this thing. It's like what I mean to say is like the scientific research is taking place on the foundation of the human frame of reference. And it makes it interesting to see when people come to the edge of the human frame of reference, what happens? Like they come to a place where it starts to become, not so clear. It is more like it's always like a bit like we cannot put a finger on it. It is this or that. Maybe also has to do with that. So it's like trying to describe unlimitedness or like infinity. Trying to describe infinity is very difficult, so that's also impossible. So I will start reading this little article and talk a little bit more after that. See what happens. Michigan State University and Stanford University scientists have invented a nanoparticle that eats away from the inside out portions of plaque that cause heart attacks. So, and then Brian Smith is the associate professor of biochemical engineering at the MSU. And a team of scientists created a Trojan horse nanoparticle that can be directed to eat debris, reducing and stabilizing plaque. The discovery could be a potential treatment. For arteriosclerosis, a leading cause of death in the United States. The results published in the current issue of Nature Nanotechnology showcases nanoparticle that homes in on arteriosclerotic plaque due to its high selectivity to a particular immune cell type, monocyte and macrophage. Once inside the macrophages in those plugs, it delivers a drug agent that stimulates the cell to engulf and eat cellular debris. Basically, it removes the diseased dead cells in the plaque core by reinvigorating the macrophage. Plaque size is reduced and stabilized. We were able, he says in the last part of the article, we were able to marry a groundbreaking finding in arteriosclerosis by our collaborators with the state-of-the-art selectivity and delivery capacities of our advanced nanomaterial platform. We demonstrated that nanomaterials were able to selectively seek out and deliver a message to the very cells needed, Smith said. It gives a particular energy to our future work, which will include clinical translations of these nanomaterials using large animal models and human tissue tests. We believe it is better than previous methods. So, and the great thing in this discovery is then, and that's how it is summarized, previous studies have acted on the surface of the cells. So that was quite something. On the surface of the cells, they could put a little thing on top of it. But this new approach works intracellularly, so it's in the cells where it's active and has been effective in stimulating macrophages. So, in other words, we are able now to within our ideas of sickness and within our frame of reference as a human being, we have found something that we can use to stimulate cells in a certain way so that it stimulates like eating plaque away and dead cells and all of that. So that is so great. Within this frame of reference, that's a huge finding, So that's interesting to me. So somebody walks out the door in the morning with his, say, lunchbox on his, in Holland you would go on the bicycle, like his lunchbox on the bicycle, and he finds out that there's a certain nanoparticle that can be implanted into a cell, and that's going to really do something to, say, eat away dead bacteria and all of that stuff in your body. He discovers that and he's so excited, just like you are excited by your new finding. So seeing this in a bigger perspective, that is like, see, in the moment that he is discovering this, he expands his mind and he found this great thing that really helps him in his own way of dealing with this world, with sickness, with all the beliefs that he has. So that's a huge finding for him, which is great. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. At the same time, if he stayed home and was practicing, for instance, meditation for a moment and discovered, like, oh my God, look at my consciousness, it's expanding like amazing. Look at that. I can find peace inside myself and I feel my body come to rest. And my body, if I would let myself be researched, my body is rejuvenating itself just because of this new energy. Like the nano God particle in me is doing the work in me. So it's like, yeah, you're full of nanoparticles when you're allowing this light and love to come to you. And it's not just nanoparticles, they're so part of you that you cannot distinguish between what is part of you and what is not part of you. So it's all inclusive. So these nanoparticles that we get bombarded today are going to stimulate every cell of your body, every macrophage and every monocyte and every stem cell in your body with a frequency that is so new to you that your body cells start to like cheer just because of the new vibration of love that is going to be brought to you. See, this is a different way of looking at that. This is an expanded view of looking at that. But you feel how that it is except funny, but also it is like, oh my God, it's so great just because I can receive this. I'm not getting offended by it. I can just receive this, what's just being said. As my greatest discovery of today is that I'm being bombarded with nanoparticles of love. And they put every cell of my body into a real healing moment for myself, and has an incredible healing power. It doesn't stop with my plug on my teeth. No, it goes further and further. It literally heals me from all ideas I hold about this body. So that is a major, incredible discovery that you made today. Like that will turn your experience of yourself upside down. You know, if you really allow this to affect you and come into you, it is unbelievable what's been given. So, like I said, you can receive this because it is, you recognize this as being truth that's being shared. You can feel the light that are in these words, that are literally giving you in this present moment. And that gives you a feeling of, oh my God, it feels so good. I don't know what it is, but it feels so good. I want more of that. I want to discover more. Like this is so easy. It appears to be so easy. It's going to be given to me. I only have to allow myself to open up for a moment and to be still. And before I go out the door, I just be still for a moment and let this rejuvenating light coming into me just to make sure that I'm bombarded with nanoparticles of love. So that is really great. That is what I love about this. So one part that comes to mind now is also it has to do with your determination. Like this is the first lesson here. This is the first class here. So your determination is important. Like, okay, I'm going for this. I really want to, don't miss out on any of this. I'm going to, yeah, literally decide for myself that I want to do this for myself. That I'm dedicated to this, and see what happens. Even though I might come into a whole different experience of myself. So I found this book, and it's called A Course in Miracles, and I want to read something out of it. It is one part of the lessons, and it has everything to do with a whole different experience of yourself. The peace of God is shining in me now. Why wait for heaven? Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. The light is in them now. Enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all. Light is not of the world, yet you who bear light, the light in you, are alien here as well. The light came with you from your native home and stayed with you because it is your own. It is the only thing you bring with you from Him who is your source. It shines in you because it lights your home and leads you back to where it came from, and you are at home. This light cannot be lost. Why wait to find it in the future, or believe it has been lost already, or was never there? It can so easily be looked upon that arguments which prove it is not there become ridiculous. Who can deny the presence of what he beholds in him? It is not difficult to look within, for there all vision starts. There is no sight, be it of dreams or from a truest source, with capital S, that is not but a shadow of the seen through inward vision. There perception starts, and there it ends. It has no source but this. This light cannot be lost. Light is not of the world, yet you who bear the light in you are alien here as well. Okay, so that were a couple of good reminders. You're alien. You're an alien here. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? It's like, oh yeah, I'm an alien here. Actually, I feel pretty comfortable with that idea. Like, yeah, I felt pretty much an alien here. Yeah, that's not new information to me. But now it's like, oh, now I understand how this works. Like, yeah, the light that I was just discovering just a moment ago is part of that. So is part of that not belonging to the world. You're in it, in the world, but not of it. And you know this expression, but it's more like, no, you're a total alien here. Like you're a total alien here. You're not going to fit in here, and you don't have to either. No, it's like you come here for a very specific reason, and that is to discover, to carry with you the light that you are, and to discover that there's no such thing as this place. You know, that there literally is no such thing as this place. So you are actually discovering the unreality of what you are thinking, whether it is like thinking that there's matter, that you are in a body, you're walking around on planet Earth, or all these say agreements that we made with the world and adapted ourselves to it, but at the same time felt completely unnatural. So that's quite a lot of information in a short time, but you can handle it. I know that. It's like, yeah, you know this, you remember this. There's not, you can resist it, of course, but there's no need for it anymore. So there's a possibility to discover more of this light and love and these the bombarding with nano God love particles. So, all of that comes together. All of that comes together in you who are discovering the new reality, the new dimensions of your experience. And there's so much to discover in that. Every time there's a whole different light shining in from a different angle. So now I focus on determination and perseverance. It's like, okay, we got to persevere. We're going to stay with this. We're going to do this. So for that, something came to me this week that was really totally amazing. I'm not a big reader. The book, The Government of Eden by Joel Goldsmith, that just was being brought out. I'm not reading that book from the beginning to the end. So I open it up sometimes and read a couple of lines. So last time in the class, I used a certain anecdote that was in there. So today, I would love to share with you something and actually literally ask you to repeat it after me. So you can do this out loud. You can do this in your mind. I would suggest to do it out loud, just as a confirmation or as an declaration of your acceptance. The title of it is I Accept, and I will read it in a minute. See, we didn't do this before. This is something else that just came to me, just for the possibility for you to be in this determination. I will send it to you. Or you can download it on the website. This same prayer. It's like, okay, here's this gift. If you ever feel like reading that again, or maybe read that for the next couple of days, every day, one time, or something like that, it is like an unbelievable possibility to confirm that what you already know and to accept it for yourself. So I'm going to read that for you, while I will send it to you, to everyone that's here today in the class, or you can download it on the website and enjoy yourself with that. And discovering other dimensions of experience, like on a daily basis. So may I invite you to repeat this after me. I accept right here, right now. I accept the grace of God. I accept the grace of God as the allness and onlyness and perfection of my being, of my body, of my business. I accept God's grace as companionship, as home, as opportunity, as success. I accept consciously the grace of God as a law unto my being, as the only law operating my mind, in my consciousness, in my heart, in my life, in my soul, in my being, in my body, in all that concerns me. I consciously accept God as the one influence in my life. I accept the activity of the Christ, the Spirit of soul, I accept the love of God as the only love in my experience. I, here and now, accept the grace of God. Amen. So, and you can find this on page 2425 from The Government of Eden by Joel S. Goldsmith. So this is the declaration, and you can read it over and over, and you can express it. You can start your day with it, whatever you want to do with it. It's such a pure way of stating exactly what you feel from the inside as being your reality. So it just confirms it. It is not trying to fight with you. It's not doing anything with you except confirming to you, yes, this is actually, this is true for me. This is what I accept to be my reality. Because it is, it's like this is a confirmation for myself. I have to express this to myself in order for me to discover, yes, this is what I am. And thank you for bearing with me and allowing yourself to say that out loud or to repeat it in your mind or however you did that. Thank you so much for doing that. And I thank you so much for your presence here and hope to see you soon, like maybe next Sunday when we have another class. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.